This is the Big O Show. 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 This is
Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive away in a new Integra. Only $299 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
When presenting an award to an employee, athlete, executive, or fantasy GM, make sure you call Orvieto's Awards and More. For 35 years, these custom award specialists have been providing plaques, trophies, custom framing, while providing state-of-the-art laser and computerized engraving, UV printing, and glass crystal etching. They do all their engraving and printing in-house for quality control. Call Charles at 305-949-8098 or visit them at orvietosawards.com. Orvieto's Awards and More, where recognition is rewarding.
When it comes to your smile, confidence is so important. At Moody S Dental, they provide the services to get your smile back. This family-run practice prides itself by offering the latest technology to give your family the best experience possible. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years with offices in Hialeah and Plantation. They accept most major dental insurances. They provide free new patient exams, 20% off select treatments. To qualify, please follow us on Instagram at moodys.dental. Moody S Dental has been in business for over 30 years. To schedule an appointment in Hialeah, call 305-821-0231 and Plantation 954-692-6825. From Invisaligns, dental implants, same-day crowns, and the preventative care and preservation to get your smile back. Go to moodysdental.com to find out more and tell them Big O sent you.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Take $10,000 off a 2025 MDX at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge, Total Landscape Solutions.
The Sultan's choice for excitement and a caravan of savings awaits at Toyota of Hollywood. Your wish for savings has been granted with discounts of up to $4,500. Take a magic carpet ride in a Toyota Corolla, not $24,000, $19,988. Step into our grand bazaar where you'll find epic savings at the #1 volume Toyota dealer, Toyota of Hollywood, on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street. Open till midnight.
After 40 years, the Big Cheese Miami is still producing great Italian food. They started in 1984. Since then, they've been winning awards while being voted the best inexpensive Italian restaurant in Miami. Visit them for great food, amazing service. Witness the decades of Cane's memories. The walls are like a Miami Hurricanes Hall of Fame. The Big Cheese delivers anything on its menu or party platter menu to your home, office, or even a park for a picnic. Located at 8080 Southwest 67th Avenue, Miami. Call 305-662-6855. TheBigCheeseMiami.com, where they serve large portions at family prices.
Oh, Sam, not again.
Initiating Daddy's back.
Go!
Set the rhythm of your smart home with Sloman Shield Blink, the new integrated smart home platform that automates your life just the way you want it. Sloman Shield Blink. Be the maestro of your own home.
If you're looking to take your home or business to the next level, then RM Contractors can assist you. RM specializes in new residential turnkey, new commercial turnkey, home and office remodeling. Call them for free estimates. Serving all of South Florida, licensed and insured. Call Ray, 305-345-3649. You work hard to create the perfect atmosphere. You dream it, we'll build it. RM Contractors, 305-345-3649. Or Instagram at RMC Fisher Island.
Before you buy or lease a Honda, Volkswagen, Hyundai, or any other model, compare Subaru, rated #1 in safety at Subaru of Pembroke Pines. Buy with 0.9% financing, 0 down. Forester with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $259 a month. Crosstrek with symmetrical all-wheel drive, $239 a month. During the Subaru A Lot to Love event at Subaru of Pembroke Pines, South Florida's #1 volume Subaru retailer.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Hi, this is Jeff Welt from Welton Rayom. Dan and I have been in business together for over 22 years. We're not your typical lawyers. When Dan's not working in the office, he's flying his stunt plane. When I'm not in the office, I'm either getting tattooed, bowling, riding a motorcycle, or going to concerts. We might not be your typical attorneys, but we are aggressive attorneys, and we'll do whatever it takes to get you what you deserve. Consultations are always free. Call us anytime, 24/7.
Welton Rayom can help.
There's just one place to celebrate a happy new model year. Acura of Pembroke Pines. Drive away in a new ADX. Only $299 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website.
Turn on the mic to make sure you can hear me. How's it going, everybody? It is October 15th. It is Wednesday, 2025, baby. Yes, sir. Day number 18,901 since the Miami Dolphins won the Super Bowl title. Day number 8,685 since the Canes were national champions. And today is day number 114 that Bitcoin is over $100,000. There you go. All right. Lots of things to talk about today on the program. I'm sure Tua will make some news with silliness, so we'll get to that eventually. I don't know. Does he talk while we're on? Does he? No, it's after 12, right? Probably, because I'll probably be on. I'm not sure. I'll go past 12. So I'm sure we'll talk tomorrow about whatever silliness they're going after. I don't know. I have no idea. We'll get to that too, of course. Alexis Cubbit. I hope I pronounced her last name right. We'll ask her when we bring her on. She is a Louisville beat writer for the Courier Journal Sport. So she covers the Cardinals, so might as well talk about really the most important game of the week. It's not anything Dolphins, it's everything Canes. So we'll talk and get her thoughts on Louisville and Miami, as Louisville has to hit the road, and we'll see what happens. By the way, I think what was it that I just saw? Was it 13? I think I saw on the Hard Rock app. Let me make sure. Let me give you the latest on the Hard Rock app. Where are we at here? What the hell did I do there? Okay, where am I? Here we go. Okay, here we go. Louisville, Miami, 13.5. Yeah, 13.5. Miami, over and under is 51.5. Louisville's plus 400 and Miami's minus 550 on the money line. So that's what we've got going on Friday. Going to be interesting. Looking forward to it. I like it, right? Because it's cool for our Canes that they get a Friday night all to themselves. I mean, they're a draw no matter what. People always want to see them either win or lose. You know what I mean? Because lots of people love to hate the Canes. I think you guys know that. So it's one of those things that it's kind of like a Yankee thing. People will watch the Yankees just to hope that they lose because there's a lot of Yankee haters and stuff like that. So it's good. But on a Friday, you got the stage to yourself. You put up a good show. Helps with everything has helped with recruiting this year. You know, that's been the key when you're trying to rebuild a program and take it to those next levels. You have your moments that you have to capture. And that's something that they had failed on in the last 20 years, that the big games, the big moments, they would lose, right? They weren't good enough to get pushed around, all that kind of stuff. Now, all the nationally televised games, all the ranked games, they have come through. And that obviously, you know, and in this social media world and everything else, it is so huge. And you've got recruits going to all these games. You want to put on a show. I mean, the what's it called? The Louisville running back, Isaac Brown. He's a Miami kid. I mean, Louisville always has Miami kids. They recruit South Florida heavy. So Louisville wants to put on a show too, because their scouts, their coaches are going to be here recruiting South Florida like they have forever. So it's just one of those things that what was it? What was the name of that defensive coordinator, Charlie Strong? When he went to Louisville, he was kind of the guy that started that whole thing about heavy going after South Florida. And since then, Louisville has always had some kind of a tie to South Florida players, and we will see Isaac, on Friday, Miami kid, doing well there for them overall. So looking forward to talking to Alexis about that and get, their point of view. They are 4-1. So, Louisville's and Louisville, by the way, I believe is ranked number 1 in defense. Okay. Now, their opponents and all that kind of stuff have kind of helped. And that's a whole other conversation that we'll get into it. But yeah, it's going to be kind of interesting. So we'll talk to Alexis about that matchup. Manny will join us tomorrow with our Caneswear, with our Big Cheese Miami.com NIL and recruiting report. And then Manny will join us again on Friday night because we'll do a Canes post game. We don't do pre for the Canes. Maybe after they win the national title this year, then that'll force me next year to start doing pre and post for the Canes or something. I don't know. We'll see. We'll come up with something or something along those lines. Who knows? We'll see. But anyway, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about here on the program. Panthers back in action tonight. So that is good. They'll take on the Red Wings. We've got Fort Lauderdale United back in action tomorrow night. I like this because on Saturday, they're in the middle of everything else going on. You know what I'm saying? And so this one, again, kind of like a showcase game. You're on Thursday night, so it gives me an opportunity. Starts at 6:30, so that is good, too. See if the unbeaten season continues. So we got a lot of good stuff going on. I had no idea Puerto Rico played soccer. Wow. They played against Messi and the boys yesterday. 6-0. Puerto Rican soccer, huh? That's like, why even have it, Puerto Rico, Cuba. U.S. is kind of mediocre itself. It's kind of these countries that are right next to each other. Jamaica is the only one going, hey, keep us away from you guys, okay? We're much better than you guys. But anyway, so, yeah. So Puerto Rico. Yeah, not known for soccer. Nah. Give them boxing, some basketball, baseball. Soccer, not their thing there in Puerto Rico. Nah, just not a strength. You know what I'm saying? It's like Cuba, whatever. Although if you ever talk to an old Cuban, they'll tell you, hey, Cuba was in the World Cup in 1908 or something. I don't know. I think Cuba made the World Cup or something, like the first couple of World Cups when there were maybe 8 countries participating in the whole thing. I have no idea, but it was just something like that. Like whoever had a team to field made the World Cup in those days. That kind of stuff. But seriously, can you look it up for me, Ashan? I think Cuba made the early World Cups or something stupid like that. They couldn't play soccer if their lives depended on it. That's why I kind of laugh. Puerto Rican, Cuban soccer, that's kind of like a joke. You know what I'm saying? Cuba was in the first one. There you go, 1938. Yeah, exactly. But in those days, it was whoever even understood the sport or could even field the team made the World Cup. It wasn't like you were really talented or anything. It was just like, oh, you've got a team, you made the World Cup. That's kind of the way it goes. Back in the first World Cup, they were like, yeah, can somebody participate? Nobody knows this sport, The only thing we know is feeding people to animals. So let's start something new. And so then there you go. That's what happened all of a sudden. So there you go. Now Juan says the third World Cup. Yeah, see, the problem with the Was it the first and the third, or just the first or the third? I know that they were in one or something like that early on or something. Again, the days when whoever had a team made it actually to the World Cup. You know, that kind of stuff. 6-0. Did the Argentine players play with blindfolds? Because, I mean, really, they should have played with blindfolds. It would have been competitive at least. Okay, blindfold for the goalie of Argentina. Then maybe it's 6-3. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, something like that. I would have done something to Argentina plays with 5 players. They would have won maybe 1-0 only, 2-0 or something like that. Can you imagine 5 Argentine players and they're playing and they just whip up on Puerto Rico's ass? That would be funny. That would be funny, actually. And I would probably put my money on Argentina with 5 players against Puerto Rico. Full side. Yeah, I would probably do that too. In fact, I would put 7 Argentine players on the pitch, and I'd put 10 from Puerto Rico and 10 from Cuba, and they'd still lose by 10 goals. So, yeah. So, basically what I'm saying is Puerto Rican and Cuban soccer is, that's an oxymoron. You probably shouldn't even be competing in this sport anymore. Stay with what you know. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Ocala Joe is smashing it. And the dip, too. You got to smash the dip. There's some nice dips going on. Josh is in the house. Pat in Asheville, 90% chance of rain and winds 20 to 30 miles an hour Sunday. That's awesome. That is good running back weather. They have one. We have one, but it's not a guy you really want to be, The coach doesn't know that. But I'm sure Devon Achane will have 27 carries this week in the mud. He's a mudder. He's a power back. That's what it is. Pat in Nashville says, Argentina busy spending that $20 billion. We could have bought $20 billion in Bitcoin. Like, they won't use our tax money to buy Bitcoin because, there's a lot of people that don't understand it. So a lot of Americans would be against it. And that's understandable, by the way. As much as I think it's ridiculous, it's understandable. There's a lot of people uneducated and they don't understand Bitcoin. But we're going to give away $20 billion. We're going to buy 20 billion pesos. You can't write this shit, dude. You just can't write this shit. We could easily buy 20 billion in Bitcoin. Okay? 20 billion, which will 10x in 5 years, which will help our economy, which will help our Americans, which will help our dollar. No, instead, we're going to acquire pesos. You really can't make this stuff up. You really can't. It's just crazy stuff. Anyway, Jeff in Long Island, I see is number 1. TJ Superman, Christian DiMartino, One-Eyed Jack, Brian Walters, going to the game on Friday. We are stopping by Canesware on the way. Yeah, baby. We have club level tickets going to Las Spadas next door for lunch. There you go. Use our code Big O10. Not at La Spada, at Canesware, by the way. I don't think it'll work at La Spada. I don't think if you walk into La Spada and say, hey, Big O's code, Big O10, I get 10% off here at La Spada. I don't think it'll work. But at Canesware, I guarantee you, Jeff, Brett, whoever, Ken Graff, Jack, whoever's out there, you'll get your 10%. So Big O10 at Canesware, so you can get anything and everything with the Canes logo on it. They got Dolphin stuff. They got a lot of old logo Dolphin stuff. Okay, so make sure you go check that stuff out because that's the real logo. Oscar Rojas. Yes, it is a nice dip. Especially for you newbies, man. This is a nice place to start off. Sweet Baby Ray, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. Alexis Palenzuela, Lisa Rose. My Finns may be a dumpster fire, but at least my Dodgers are 2 wins away from heading back to the World Series. Congratulations. Chris Johnson, Horn Dog, Jeff Fox, Jamie Zoria in San Jose, NorCal. He's puffing, by the way. I don't think he's passing because he's probably lonesome right now. John Padilla, Alcovision, Ty in the Bronx. Thank you all out there, man. You guys are amazing. Ray Varnicus, what's your take on Bad Bunny doing? I already did that. I think it sucks. I think he relates to a whole bunch of young people. Let me see. Do I still have it here? Do I still have it here? No, I don't. So I got to go to last month's notes. Here it is. Bad Bunny blows. It doesn't have enough range. It's super popular for a certain level of kids and all that. I would have, I'm not the guy that just says, oh, it sucks. And then I don't have an idea, like follow up. So I said you get Dua Lipa and Teddy Swims. You will have more range. More people will watch it. Plus Dua Lipa and Teddy Swims is way better than Bad Bunny. Imagine Dragons and Janelle Monáe. They can hire me anytime they want. I'm way better at putting artists together, because I actually listen to all kinds of music, new and old and all that. I am a little bit picky when it comes to new because I don't think all the artists are artists, and I'm not, so some people, so I pick a Teddy Swims, I pick a Dua Lipa, I pick a Janelle Monáe, so I pick people that actually have like serious talent. Okay. Lady Gaga and 21 Pilots. Gaga relates to everybody, young and old. 21 Pilots hooks all the young people. Plus, it allows middle to older age people like myself. I love 21 Pilots to maybe experience that. They put on one hell of a show. What two guys do is ridiculous on stage. They put on a show for two guys. Two guys put on a show, and they're super talented. And you put 21 Pilots and you put Lady Gaga with 21 Pilots. That's like a really interesting combination. And then I went a little bit off the beaten path. I went Morgan Wallen, enormous country dude, and Radiohead. Radiohead probably would never do the Super Bowl, but Radiohead is worldwide. Their fan base is enormous. And then country nowadays has a little rock and a pop feel to it. So you'd kind of put an interesting combination. Any of those four would kick whatever Bad Bunny is going to do on that Sunday night. Nothing against Bad Bunny, but I'm not a fan. So, yo soy Latino, but I don't really give a shit about it, to be quite honest. It does nothing for me. Okay? But all those other artists, I've seen Janelle Monáe live. Buddy, not only is she talented, she is like gorgeous. Okay? I'm just telling you, these are people that would put on a show and would reach bigger audiences. Bad Bunny is going to reach a limited audience. So it is what it is. But, NBC will now indoctrinate you into Bad Bunny like they did with SNL and all that. And from here on out, you'll see more and more Bad Bunny to try to get people to know who he is and his music and all that. But there's a ton of Americans that have never listened and will never listen and don't really give a shit about Bad Bunny. But I get it. You got a huge Latin community. It's the biggest minority that is growing in this country. So you can get away with this, so it is. But for me, I would have designed something that would reach more people. That's my point. And that's what I think. So, but what do I know, dude? I don't know anything. I'm a schmuck. So that's my 2 cents, and with substance, not just say, it's bad, bunny, and I don't want it, and then that's it. No, I gave you an alternative, and some really good alternatives, I think, but that's up to you guys. So there you go. One-Eyed Jack, I unfortunately will be at the game on Sunday. Hang in there, my brother. Jake from Pallettown. Merman says, I'm going to the Dolphins-Browns game. Any advice on how I can enjoy the weekend? The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. If you like music, go to that. What else did I do in Cleveland? There's food. There's not a lot unless there's concerts. The Friday or Saturday while you're there. I don't know when you're getting there. I know there's one more thing besides the rock. I mean, the flats aren't anything where you got, and they got amusement parks. If you want to go to Cedar Point or Kings Island or something like that. And the Hall of Fame. If you go there early, if you're going to go to Cleveland, you're about an hour away from the Hall of Fame. So if you're there on a Saturday and not doing anything, you can go to the Hall of Fame. Okay. So there you go. What else do we have going on? Ender Fireplay. Thank you, sir. Cosa Nostra, shout out to you for the dedication, passion, and loyalty to this loser franchise that doesn't appreciate fans as you. That is true. No, they don't appreciate NorCal or anybody else. That is true, Cosa. Jake from Pallettown, Skylar Tipton, Papa. Yeah, just don't watch. I won't be watching. So it is what it is. John Padilla, Big O Bad Bunny has a huge fan base. Most of it is out of the U.S. like soccer. I guess a move to attract more fans. Yeah, it's whatever. But, halftime is usually dedicated more to women. Guys go to take a leak. They go to get some drinks. They go to talk. They go to smoke a cigar, smoke a joint, smoke a cigarette, bullshit around. Guys don't necessarily all hang out in front for halftime. They usually like to stretch out their legs and bullshit and all that. The women will sit there and watch the commercials, and they'll watch the halftime and all of that. So I guess, they're expecting that Bad Bunny will translate in that area and they'll be able to get, good ratings. But this is why you schedule, J-Lo and Shakira and Riri and, things like that, because usually the women are going to get attracted to, the halftime show. And then that'll be where you could get your eyes. I know he's enormous. I know that, dude. I understand that completely. Doesn't mean I like it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't care how enormous it is. Everybody that I mentioned there, I'd rather watch. I will not be watching the Bad Bunny one because I don't give a shit about Bad Bunny. So that's just me. In my eyes, I could care less. So I won't be watching. I would rather do something else during that halftime. What else do we have going on? Remember, folks, you can make a donation to the show. Keep us alive. Keep us pumping. We're in year 6. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. You can make a Bitcoin, Ethereum, Chainlink, or Solana donation. And, of course, you can also visit our amazing sponsors. One of them is All Year Cooling and Plumbing. We love talking about Tommy and all the great people at All Year Cooling and Plumbing. Over 350,000 satisfied customers. That is crazy. Go to the website. Call allyearcooling.com at 204-5554. If you go to allyourcooling.com, you can get a free estimate also. And they've been in business since 73. That's 52 years serving Homestead to Vero Beach. And now a new office in Naples, Florida's #1 AC and plumbing service, All Year Cooling. And tell them that Big O sent you. They will take care of you. I promise you. They are really, really good people. Hell, my AC is working great. Installed by them in 2010. Okay? 15 years in. It's pretty good, man. It's pretty damn good. That's all I can tell you. Pretty damn good. TJ Superman says, Apple Music is throwing it. My wife says it's because Apple wants to sell their AirPods that can translate instantly in your ears. I don't know. I have no idea. So, Juan says, as a Hispanic, Bad Bunny doesn't represent or speak for me. He speaks for some Puerto Ricans, but definitely not for me, half Guatemalan and Cuban. Well, I don't really care about the nationality of it. Music is not about nationality. It's either you like the music or you don't like the music. I don't like the music. That's all. You know? So. My early Super Bowl prediction, I'm definitely going Kansas City. I'm not going to leave Kansas City until they prove to me that they're worn out and done and they can't get it, over the hump. So I can't believe in anybody else. The Colts are having a phenomenal year. Buffalo doesn't really have a defense. New England is definitely up and coming because they have the coach that we should have. Pittsburgh's very fraudulent. So I'm going to go Kansas City. And then in the NFC, this is what I wanted to pull up right now, and I did. God, it's so early. I can't go with San Francisco, even though I got to say that Shanahan has done a phenomenal job to be 4-2. Seattle and the Rams. Kind of like the Rams long term if they can stay healthy. Tampa Bay has been absolutely awesome. Green Bay, Detroit, I still think can make some noise. Philly, if they can win at the line of scrimmage, they're always going to be in it. It's really tough to call in the NFC right now. But if I'm going to go Detroit. I'm going to go Kansas City, Detroit right now when it's all said and done. So we'll see. Who knows? It's hard, man. Injuries and who starts to, play well and that kind of stuff all changes, So we'll find out. Bad Bunny is going to kill it. He transcends music. This is going to be the most viewed Super Bowl. A lot of people live in their bubble and don't understand. It's fine with me. It's not a matter of understanding. I don't give a shit about his music. It doesn't matter to me. Do you think I watched Shakira or J-Lo for music, John Pettis? You know what I mean? And whatever Bad Bunny is going to do, it's going to be dog shit next to Prince. You know what I'm saying? Whatever he does, it'll be dog shit to Michael Jackson. Okay? Hell, whatever he does, it'll be dog shit to the rappers. Back, what was it, like 4 years ago? When they had all the rappers come out? That was awesome. The Rihanna one actually sucked. It was boring. It was too much of this big-ass presentation. It was kind of lame. You know what I'm saying? That one was kind of lame. The Shakira and J-Lo one, I don't listen to any of their music. I don't give a shit about J-Lo's music. I actually enjoy J-Lo, the actress, way more than the musician. I could care less about her music. Her music does nothing for me. Now, her looks and dancing, that's a whole different ballgame. And outside of Hips Don't Lie, I could give a shit about Shakira's music. And they killed it. Why? Well, did you see how they looked? There you go. So, whatever, bro. To me, it's about the music. And Bad Bunny does nothing for me. So, personally, for me, I won't care. I really won't care. So, anyway, who are you rooting for? Tampa Bay when Brady and they went to this. Oh, definitely, I was rooting for Brady to win. I was definitely rooting for Brady to win because I root for Tampa. Unless Tampa's playing the Dolphins, that's the only way I won't root for Tampa. That's it. I rooted for Tampa when they won it with Gruden. I root for Jacksonville if they're not playing Miami. Yeah, I don't have anything against those teams. I have no hate for those teams. Now, the week they play the Dolphins, you got to go down. At least I hope. Bad Bunny is a performer. Oh, that's fine, bro. I need. He's not sexy enough for me to just watch as a performer. Okay, is he a performer like Michael Jackson? I'm sorry, or Prince? I don't watch Bad Bunny, so I have no idea. Can he perform like Michael Jackson or Prince? Not saying, I know he can't sing and produce music like them. I'm asking, can he actually perform like Michael Jackson and Prince? Anybody that watches Bad Bunny, Michael Jackson, and Prince, okay, I'm too ignorant on that. I don't watch Bad Bunny. I don't give a shit about Bad Bunny, so I have no idea. But this guy calls him a performer. Now, a performer is Prince. A performer is Michael Jackson. I'm just saying, So, performer. I haven't seen a response. You know what I mean? Kane Gang goes, all you gringos have. Bro, I'm Cuban. You know what? I don't give a shit about Bad Bunny. You know what I'm saying? That has nothing to do with it, whether it's good music or not. And I don't like his music at all. Period. End of story. Don't want anything to do with it. That's all. So, performer is Mark Anthony. Yes. Is Bad Bunny Mark Anthony? Bad Bunny is not for old folks. We had our time in the sun. I'm into Imagine Dragons and Janelle Monáe, and I'm old. I'm into 21 Pilots. I'm old. I'm into Lady Gaga. I'm old. Not into Bad Bunny. I'm into Teddy Swims. I love Dua Lipa. I'm not exactly sure where you're going. So, don't know. Let's see. Bad Bunny, Kane Gang clearly has zero credibility, right? But nobody has said that Bad Bunny is Mark Anthony, Michael Jackson, or Prince. Those are performers. Okay? Can he perform like that? I'm just saying, because, if you call him a performer, does he perform like that? Nobody has said anything. Frankie goes, I mean, you can't say Bad Bunny is not a performer because you have gone to see him and you don't find his music appealing, so it's cool. Again, I don't like his music. I've heard it, but I don't watch the guy. Somebody just called him a performer. I keep asking, does he perform like Mark Anthony? Does he perform like Prince or Michael Jackson? Bad Bunny is not all that, and I'm not that old fart like says Ian. Relentless says, Bunny is the goat that does that wearing purses. Okay. I don't like Bad Bunny's music. It's literally all opinion, but Bad Bunny's fanboys are insane to defend him. Okay, so none of you have said that he's a performer. So he's not a performer. He's not like that kind of performer. That's what I call a performer. Like when Bruno Mars went on halftime, terrible combination. I love Red Hot Chili Peppers. Bruno Mars, Red Hot Chili Peppers. Who's organizing this shit? Anyway, back to it. The guy was dancing. The guy was playing a guitar, Prince guitar. He was drumming. Okay? That's a performer. Again, I don't watch this guy, so I have no idea. But if you call him a performer, okay? I'm just saying. And nobody has said, oh, no, yeah, no, he can dance like this guy. He can perform like this guy. You know, he plays multiple instruments like Prince and Bruno Mars, which, by the way, I had no idea Bruno Mars played that many instruments, which made me respect them. I'm a huge Bruno Mars fan, and I'm old. Okay? But again, I got to like the music and don't like the guy. So there we go. Gary Clark Jr. is a performer. Well, that's a different kind of performer. Okay? That's a different kind of performer. That's a talent that he's performing with that guitar. Bad Bunny, I know, does not do that. Okay? That's a whole different ball game. I've seen him, and I love Gary Clark Jr. I've seen him a couple times. I will see Gary Clark Jr. any day of the week and twice on Sundays. That is one guy that just he grabs you and brings you right in and sucks you right in with that guitar, you know? But that's different. That's a different kind of performer, okay? That's a jammer, in other words. That's a guy that captivates you with his talent, you know? It's like watching Neil Peart drumming. It's like watching John Entwistle running the bass. You know what I'm saying? Some people, like a Gary Clark Jr., once they grab that guitar, they're just boom. You're like, whoa. And you're just watching. That's different. It's a little different. He's not dancing. He's not jumping around all over the place or anything. Gary Clark doesn't have to do any of that shit. He just stands there and he just jams like a bad mofo. That's it. You know, Stevie Ray Vaughan didn't have to do a lot of moving around and you were captivated, you know, so different. I would include Bruno Mars as a performer. Of course, there's no doubt. Bruno Mars is a performer and a half. That's a performance. You know what I mean? The only thing I didn't like about that halftime, they didn't get you, like you brought Red Hot Chili Peppers. It was a terrible combination. Plus, he didn't use them much. I believe it was like 2 songs, maybe. So it was just so, you know. Like I told you now, Dua Lipa and Teddy Swims. Can you imagine that? Come on. There's 117 right now. Okay? Dua Lipa, Teddy Swims, or Bad Bunny? Which one you taking? You taking my production or their shitty production? Go ahead. Give it to me on the chat board. Dua Lipa and Teddy Swims versus Bad Bunny. Where are we going? Come on. And some of you may not even know who the hell Teddy Swims is. You need to find out. By the way, the Rihanna show is one of the worst halftime shows. And I love Rihanna. Love Rihanna. That show was so disconnected. It was too, yeah. That's one of the worst, actually. This one might be the Bad Bunny one, but I haven't seen. I won't watch it, so I won't know. I actually had to watch the Riri one because I love Riri. And she was pregnant and the whole red dress and all. But I just, yeah, it's hard. You're a pregnant lady doing a halftime show. So I'm going to say that is one of the worst shows ever. I don't know if I can remember all the shows and stuff, but let me tell you, Riri, I was looking forward to it, but yeah, that one does. What else do we have? Well, you two already did it. Dua Lipa alone. Yeah, I know. Can I pick you to perform instead? Yeah, you're gonna. That'll be the worst one. What else? If I'm not mistaken, Rock Nation, yes, chooses. Yes, they are. They are. And he sucked. Yeah, definitely. See, some of you are like loving the Dua Lipa thing. I just wonder that some of you are picking Dua Lipa, and there's some of you that have no idea who Teddy Swims is. That's the best part about it, is because Teddy Swims is like that guy that if you know, you know, right? Because when you see Teddy Swims and you hear him, you're like, oh shit, that guy's good, you know? And if you haven't heard him, you're like, who's Teddy Swims? Like, you know, because he's not there yet. It's funny. There's a lot of people that still have no idea who Teddy Swims is. You know, Teddy Swims he's a badass, bro. Badass. Love Teddy Swims. Anyway. All right. So enough of that crap. Let's get to our 3A Graphics sports calendar. Alan Blanco. If your company needs custom printing and embroidery, call my guy, man. He is amazing. 786-618-1443. You can do this and get it done right away through Zoom, email, get it shipped out to you right away. Please call him 786-618-1443 and make sure you tell him that Big O sent you. Panthers back in action tonight. They are minus 140 on the money line, taking on the Red Wings. The Red Wings, by the way, are plus 120 on the money line. Thursday at 6:30, Fort Lauderdale United. They look to extend their unbeaten season. They visit Lexington SC at 6:30. You can catch it on Peacock and on Local 10. Sunday, Miami FC will visit Birmingham Legion FC. Friday night, Canes, favored by 13.5, will take on Louisville at Hard Rock Stadium. Canes are unbeaten, baby, 5-0. 1-0 in the conference. Louisville 4-1, 1-1 in the conference, and the number one defense in the country. Last night, Argentina pounded Puerto Rico 6-0 in soccer. Yes, Puerto Rico does play soccer, if you can call what they do soccer. But Argentina, Messi had 2 assists in that game. Dolphins getting ready for the Brownies. Brownies now are favored by 3. Line went up from 2.5 to 3. Over and under is 40.5. Dolphins plus 135 on the money line. The Browns are minus 165 on the money line. And again, it was official yesterday as Eric Spoelstra is named USA men's basketball head coach. That is your 3A Graphics sports calendar. All right. Cash App or Venmo at Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show. Cash App or Venmo. The Bitcoin right now is at 111,400. The Dow, let me make sure, because sometimes I pull it up and it hasn't like updated. It has it right now where the Dow is up 330 points. Yeah, it looks like it has been updated. So, yes, 330 points. The S&P is up 70, and the NASDAQ is up about 0.75 of a point. All right, Frankie Fresco, thank you for the love on the super chat. He goes, well, you should have seen Bad Bunny in the J-Lo and Shakira halftime. He was a guest along with J Balvin on that halftime show. Teddy Swims sucks, LOL. Now I know don't know music. See, there. I lost all respect for anything that you have to say with music now, Frankie. You know, that's so sorry. And by the way, Frankie, again, when I'm watching J-Lo and Shakira, I'm sorry, dude. I'm not listening. I don't care about the volume. I think when they were watching, I think the volume was down and we were just watching like the dancing, which is really, it's like watching 23 or 51, bro. When the telenovela comes on, I don't need to hear the diction. None. Don't want to hear the audio. None. Dialogue? None. Don't care. J-Lo, Shakira, dialogue? Don't care. See, that's the difference. I don't listen to J-Lo, Shakira's music. Anyway, I mean, I don't know. Most red-blooded men, just turn down the volume. Then we're good. In fact, what I could do is like maybe I'll crank up some Dirty Honey and watch J-Lo and Shakira dance. That's it. You think I'm worried? I didn't even know Bad Bunny was there, because once you took the camera off those two women, hey, so what'd you think about the first half, man? Yeah, J-Lo's back. Oh, okay. Sorry, dude. I'm a normal red-blooded male. I don't know about you, but I'm a normal red-blooded male. I'll be honest. I wasn't looking for any audio on that one at all. Sorry. I'd rather watch J-Lo in Enough, in Made in Manhattan, in Kiss of a Spider Woman. I'd rather watch her in actually acting. Music-wise, yeah. She can go down the block. Let's see. What else do we have? What else? Skylar Tipton, dude is a phenomenal talent. Thoughts on XRP? Solid investment. I just don't think it's ever going to blow up the way people think it's going to blow up. Okay? That's all. Solid investment. I think you'll make money, but I don't think it's ever going to explode the way they say it's going to explode. Has too much that hasn't been released. And I don't trust that owner. Garlinghouse. I'm not a fan of Garlinghouse. There's something there that doesn't convince me. So, and be careful. Chainlink could eat into what XRP is doing, because it does a lot of the things that XRP can do. Plus, it's an oracle. So it just, that's something that people are realizing with Chainlink. And so that's something also that could affect it. Obviously, XLM, Lumens is a competitor to it and all that. But XRP is solid. It's entrenched in the banking system. So as long as it can continue to do that, it'll grow. But I just don't believe it'll grow to the stratospheres that people brag about. And so that's where I think people will get let down a little bit. By the way, I want to give Elon Musk actually some credit, because he said something that, I've kind of talked about it with Bitcoin, and I'm glad he brought it up, because obviously way more people are going to listen to him than they're ever going to listen to my dumbass. So Elon Musk talked about Bitcoin, and I've explained this when I have people sometimes when they say to me, where's Bitcoin's value and, and all that kind of stuff. And energy is value. Okay. We are killing ourselves now to go build power plants now. Okay. Energy resources to power the AI, to power all kinds of things that we need. And nuclear will be part of it, because we're going to have to build more nuclear power plants, because it's the cleanest way to produce a ton of energy real cheap. The only problem is it's really expensive to build, and it takes a long time to build these things, right? So it's kind of a catch-22 through all of this. But energy is value, is the money. Okay? Whether it's oil, whether it's gas, solar, you name it, we are producing all kinds of energy, and that's what's being sold. Well, money has never been a part of that. Why? Because money has no value. It's just a printer. That's it. Flood the market with more dollars, which then devalues it. Whereas Bitcoin, it takes energy in order to create a Bitcoin. It takes about $60,000 to $70,000 of energy to actually create a Bitcoin. And then it takes energy to move it from one wallet to another, from one warehouse to another, from one bank to another, from whatever it is, one country to another if you're having exchange. So then there's a validator that is getting paid. There are miners that are getting paid. There's a service fee when they send you money through Cash App, and you're not paying anything when you send it, but the person that receives it has to get a little slice that goes back to the center that delivered it, whether it's Cash App or Venmo or whatever it is that you use. Zelle soon, well, you'll be able to move your crypto and all that kind of stuff. But Bitcoin is energy. It's what people don't understand and they can't comprehend. It's actually money that has power. Whereas our money before had no power, and it can be just multiplied and multiplied and multiplied. Like a stock can be divided, like all kinds of things can be manipulated. This you cannot manipulate. There is 21 million and it's over. And when the 21 million are done, that's it. And it can be devised, it can be divisible into millions and millions and billions. So it can serve a ton of people. But it grows in value because there is a limited amount. So you end up buying a home with less and less Bitcoin. Athletes make millions and millions more every year. Well, in Bitcoin terms, they will make less and less Bitcoin. It goes the other way. Your dollar used to buy you a lot more sats, when Bitcoin was at 25,000. Now that it's at 111,000, now your dollar buys you less sats. So your dollar loses value while the Bitcoin grows. And so for the first time in history, we have created money that is actually valuable and outpaces the economy's deficit because it doesn't get manipulated. It does not get multiplied. It does not get split like whether we're talking about stocks and that's why gold and silver will never work. And it just died as a currency a century ago because you can't walk up somewhere. Hey, let me slice you off a little slice of gold here and let me have that Coke. What are you going to do? Go carry around a nugget and start slicing? Oh, yeah, let's have a steak dinner. Oh, yeah, we need an ounce and a half. Oh, okay, let me slice off. Is that what we're doing? You can't do that. You're going to carry around your gold and they're going to steal it from you. So we've created something that is locked up with 12 words. It's in a blockchain that is not the internet anymore. It's actually secure. Hasn't been hacked in for 15 years because it can't. So it's just, I'm glad that that Elon Musk went out there and said something that needed to be said. And now people need to take their time to actually study it. He said, Bitcoin is based on energy. You can issue fake fiat currency, and every government in history has done so. But it's impossible to fake energy. So every time you make a transaction, it's on the blockchain. Somebody had to validate it. Somebody had to move it across the blockchain. So there is value for everyone. And so even after everything is mined years from now, we will continue with validation. We will continue with transactions. So it's something that has never existed. Actual money that is worth something. And that's what Bitcoin is. Because what we carry around in our wallets and in our banks, it's not worth anything. FDIC insured, they have about $150, $60 billion. There's $9 trillion in the system. How's it really insured? It's not. It's just turn on the printer, give them more money out in the street. You're going to buy a baseball card that they made 100 of, or you're going to buy a baseball card that they made 1 million of. right? The Michael Jordan card made of only 100 compared to the Michael Jordan card made of 1 million. It's a good chance that this is the one that's going to be worth a lot more money. The one that there's only 100. That's why when they make cars and they say, this is the special edition car of this year, there's only whatever, 1,000, 5,000, whatever, but the regular of that year, there's 500,000. Anyway, just look into it. I'm not a financial advisor. It's not financial advice, but it's not too late either. And anybody that tells you it is uninformed and uneducated, unfortunately. Anyway, there you go. And we thank R&M Contractors because Ray and Mike, they are always supporting all of our crypto segments, and might as well. That was as crypto as it gets. And if you are looking for a complete remodel, kitchen upgrades, waterproofing your terrace, your balcony, flood test report, impact windows, door installations, bathroom upgrades, floor restoration, reach out to Ray and Mike. They'll take care of you. 305-345-3649. That's 305-345-3649. And go to their Instagram page so you can actually see all the work they've done over the years. Some amazing work. The attention to detail is ridiculous. RMC Fisher Island. That's RMC Fisher Island on Instagram. All right. So we're going to have Tua talk today. And they're going to ask him to follow up on all this silliness when it comes to team meetings and all that kind of stuff. And this is a player meeting. No, this is a player film session, whatever. This is where we prove that our energies are actually focused in the wrong direction. Do you think that has anything to do with why we're here? They already told you that they were going late to meetings. The leaders told you. The head coach told you. They already talked about this in the offseason. Mike McDaniel already has a team that is undisciplined. Have you not watched them on the field? Clearly, they don't go to the meetings. Clearly, they're late. Clearly, they don't study. That's why you're constantly making mistakes. Has nothing to do with everybody's focused on all the wrong things. Why? Because it's really easy to, pound on Tua right now. What the hell? He's the one that made the comment. Oh my God. Yeah. How insulting that is. He's just following through with everything else that we know that's gone on. That this team is always unorganized under Mike McDaniel. So we're focused on silliness of these team meetings, which they have nothing to do with why the Dolphins are what they are 4 years in to the Mike McDaniel era. We're 4 years in and he's 1-5. And it doesn't help that the fans then lean on former players who now act surprised, like Teron Armstead, when they were regressing last year. What the hell is he talking about? What, he doesn't want to admit that last year, that no matter some of the leaders that they had on that team failed because that team was a failure last year? And that's because it starts right at the top with Mike McDaniel. So let's focus on these stupid little things that, by the way, we've gone on for 4 years. And all you have to do is watch the last 2 weeks. This is the coach that stashed Darren Waller all game long this past week till the end when he needed him. And why didn't he use him throughout the game? This is the guy that 2 weeks ago used Darren Waller in the first half a lot, and you took a 17-0 lead. Then in the second half, couldn't find a way to get on the ball, and you lose. Has nothing to do with stupid team meetings or film sessions, which is what, Tua was talking about. It wasn't a team meeting. It was a stupid film session. Who cares, dude? Who cares? You're worried about that kind. This team sucks because it's coached by Mike McDaniel. But no, let's just pepper the quarterback and find out specifically about the team film sessions. Really? Is that what we're worried about now? Just like, it just gets to a point where it's just media going out there, and instead of actually focusing on the right thing, which is what they should have done the last couple of weeks, now they're all on the bandwagon of, oh no, now let's fire McDaniel. Well, that should have been the whole thing from the get-go. That should have been the theme within the first couple of games already. And you should have been pounding it now. Well, you should use Tua along with all the other examples of why the team is a mess. And I laughed at writers and I laughed at fans and the team when in the offseason, when they were talking about, oh, this will build camaraderie and all that, going 11 days in the preseason on the road. I laughed at all of that. That's a joke. There's no adversity. Adversity is what builds the character. Adversity is what brings you together. And when we watch the Dolphins during the regular season, adversity is what breaks them. But no, let's focus on stupid little player film sessions. Let's not focus on how did you lose here when you're not using Waller. That's the kind of stuff that you got to focus on, because it's the coach that's created this entire atmosphere. If this atmosphere would not exist with a disciplinarian. Because with a disciplinarian, everybody shows up to team meetings, film sessions, get-togethers, dinners, bowling, whatever stupid crap that they want to come up with. When you've got a coach that can really bring people together because they believe in what he's doing, yeah. But we haven't had that for a while. We haven't had a coach that knows how to lead a team in forever, man. Forever. They have yet to hire one. That's been their problem. They don't have a guy that really knows how to bring people together and make people feel like confident about what they're doing. So let's focus on stupid film sessions that really aren't going to answer the real problem for the Miami Dolphins. You know? Sad. Anyway, let's tell you a little bit about Toyota of Hollywood. We love talking about Toyota of Hollywood. Herbie Lopez and all the great people there at Toyota of Hollywood. We broadcast there the second Wednesday of every month. Come on out and join us. 1841 North State Road 7, right on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan, folks. And they've always got some great deals going on right now. 2,000 different Toyotas in stock, over 1,200 new ones. The Camry LE sedan, $299 a month, zero down, okay? They've got no payments for 90 days, which is really comforting, especially during the holiday season where you're going to be spending some money. They got 2.75% financing available for 4 full years, zero down. And by the way, they're also hiring technicians. So if you're looking for work, you can apply in person. Business is amazing out there at Toyota of Hollywood. They're hiring experienced master, mid-level, and lube technicians. Top compensation and signing bonus available. So reach out to them there at Toyota of Hollywood. 1841 North State Road 7, right on 441 between Hollywood and Sheridan. It is Toyota of Hollywood. All right, Frankie Fresco, McDaniel at the podium. 60% of the time, bubble screens work every time. That's why you know where you're at, because you have the same clown running an offense that doesn't work and he runs an offense that doesn't complement his players, which is even the worst part about it. Frankie, again, thank you, Frankie. I'm going to believe Armstead and his opinion because he has been in that locker room. You and myself have not. Tua needs to take accountability too. Well, Armstead's full of shit. You can believe whatever you want. Now's when he believes they're a bad team. They were a bad team last year with him on it. They weren't a team last year. You can believe whatever you want, but he's lying to himself. The wheels were already coming off last year, and he didn't realize it. And now's when he realizes they're not a team. Dude, he's way late on this, but that's all right. He could be in the locker room. That's probably his problem, Frankie. You ever realize that? You can't get close to the players. You do that, you can't be objective. And Teron Armstead, phenomenal person, phenomenal leader, phenomenal talent, all that stuff. He doesn't have an ounce of objectivity in him. He's too much of a homeboy. That's it. Homer. Homeboy Homer. And he's looking after his guys. That's all. He's afraid of actually saying what's what. Has he gone after Mike McDaniel? Does he call Mike McDaniel a bad coach? I'm wondering. Send me that soundbite where he calls Mike McDaniel a bad coach, because he is a bad coach. Just wondering. So, if you can't really tell the truth, then yeah. I'm going to say that Teron Armstead, I'm going to listen to you when you want to break down a play for me on what was going on here in the offensive line, what he should have done. But when it comes to the reality of where the team is at and assessing real problems, you're not going to give me the honesty. So, but again, the good thing about it, Frankie, is that former players sucker fans like yourself, because that's what you go for. Oh, well, no, he was in the locker room. He's got to know. Yeah, he's also being super PC. So if he tells me that Mike McDaniel's a bad coach, then I can start to believe him. You know what I'm saying? Then I can start to believe him. If he starts to criticize McDaniel for running Achane up the gut a little too much, then I can believe him. Did he criticize McDaniel, like critique him and say, it's ridiculous that he didn't use him all game and waited till the end? Did he do that this week? I don't know. It was, once I hear you're a homer, I'm out. I'm done. And when I heard him and watched it for a few minutes, I was like, bro, this is all politics. This is a guy that wants to play politics. And that's fine. That's all good. But, so anyway, the problem is we have lost one coach over this quarterback, and now the second coach is going. I agree, he's not a good coach, but to try to game plan around a quarterback that can't move. Richard, brother, I'm tired of just, whatever, bro. I can't wait for him to leave. You know what I mean? Like I tell you, Richard, and every other dick that chimes in on this, okay? Every other quarterback has a ton of success here, right? Right? And they've actually built a line that can block in front of Tua. Did they? Did they ever build a line that can block in front of Tua? Because you'll never win with Tua if you don't build a line that can block in front of him. Okay? Because guys that can't move for the 400th time, like a Tom Brady, like a Peyton Manning, like a Drew Brees, you got to block for them. They have never blocked for him, ever. Okay? They started his career by sabotaging him with the first coach that you brought up, Dick, with, of course, Brian Flores saying, let me start your career off against the Rams and Jesse Davis. you know, it's kind of really tiring to repeat the same stupid shit to you people out there. Like, if you can't block, you'll never win, dude. And you make it sound like every quarterback in this town, everybody that's come through here has had success. Ryan Tannehill, who couldn't win a game if his life depended on it, okay? In Tennessee with the real coach, he knew what that guy was. So he goes, okay, well, we only need him to make a couple passes. We'll carry him with the line, with Derrick Henry and the defense. And we're going to only ask Ryan to make a couple of passes, and we'll try to, gut it out and try to do the best that we can week in and week out. And he got pretty far with a mediocre quarterback. Why? Because he could block and he could run, the running back that was in Alabama. The line that Tua had in Alabama, stuff like that. Never had anything here. Never. They never bothered to build a real offensive line here. So they were never going to succeed with Tua here. Never. It's impossible. But hey, it's all right, Rich. You think every other quarterback they'll pick will be just fine, because that's what's happened since Marino. Every quarterback is just fine, bro. They are going to have success. Right? Tua is the only one. Tua is the only one in the last 25 years that's in the MVP race. Yeah, he's so terrible. Tua is the only guy in the last 25 years that led the league in touchdowns. Tua is the only guy in a Dolphin uniform in the last 25 years that leads the league in completion percentage. I know all of our quarterbacks have done that in the past. Yeah, of course. Of course. Yeah. It's simple. I got you. Let's see. Anyway, what else do we have going on? It's just insane how everything gets blamed on one guy when everything around him is completely incompetent. It's crazy. Oh, what else? No, John, I'm just tired of repeating shit over and over again. That's all. And I like to play on words. The guy was happening to name Richard, so it kind of went well with it. Let's see. Ryan Tannehill, why don't you tell the truth? Had a running back that could run all over everybody, a total freak. Exactly. But you'll never do that here with Ryan Tannehill, because you didn't have a line, you didn't have Derrick Henry and their defense, and you didn't have Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel is better than Jimmy Johnson. Mike Vrabel is better than Dave Wannstedt. Mike Vrabel is better than Brian Flores. Mike Vrabel is better than Bill Parcells. Mike Vrabel is better than Tony Sperano. He's better than Mike McDaniel. He's better than all of the head coaches that you've had here. Mike Vrabel is better than all of them. Mike Vrabel, at least, he gets one quarterback and he understands how he has to compete with this guy, even his limitations. Now he goes to New England, and you saw May last year and now May this year. What a concept. What a concept. It's here. I'll give you a great example of what's going on in this world. Okay? I'll give you a great example of what's going on in this world. Cam Ward. Here's the headline in The Athletic. Okay? Cam Ward is fighting through growing pains and organizational turmoil, because, of course, there's, that doesn't happen here in Miami. Will he be able to reach his full potential in Tennessee? But like Richard and all the others, you're all cowards. Okay? You blame the quarterback and you don't blame the situation. So let me ask you, you're not willing to admit that the Dolphins are the Jets or the Browns? Why? Are you above that or something? I'm sorry, I must have missed it. Where do you develop quarterbacks? Because all you ever have is turmoil and a disaster of a place. And every quarterback dies here. So quarterbacks leave Cleveland and Miami and New York and go have success. Because Ryan Tannehill sucks, and he at least was more successful in Tennessee because they understood how to put him in a better position. Sam Darnold and Geno Smith both sucked in New York and now are having success. Baker Mayfield was hated, said all kinds of crazy shit because, of course, when they're coming at you and blaming you for everything in Cleveland, which, of course, it's not everything, now you go to Tampa. Well, you go to the Rams, you bounce around a little bit, you kind of see other things, and you come to Tampa, and wow, they know how to run an organization. And now you look a little better. And people like Richard and a lot of you out there, you have a problem admitting that the Dolphins are the problem, not Tua. Tua's not the problem. Tua proved in Alabama that he could win a national title and kick Jalen Hurts right out of town. And Jalen Hurts is not a very good passer, but he won a Super Bowl last year. Was it because he's so amazing? No, it's because his D, his O-line, and his running back were so amazing. So they complimented him. They complimented Nick Foles all the way to a Super Bowl. Too many of you still don't understand football. Is Tua the most talented guy? No, but because he's not Josh Allen, it's like how many of you are little hurt bitches because the guy stands there and tells you, yeah, no, I'm not Josh Allen. I can't run like him and throw out there. Doesn't matter. Josh Allen's not going to win shit until they build the right team around him. It's all the same thing. But if you don't understand your talent, there's no way you're going to win. So the kid's a passer and he can read defenses and all of that, but he is not a scrambler. He's not going to be running for his life. He can't do that. He's not out there to go break tackles and all that. He is like Dan Marino. He is like Drew Brees. He is like, actually, Bob Greasy moved a little bit better than he does. He is like Tom Brady. He's like Peyton Manning. He is a pocket passer. He's going to live there. He's going to move around just a little bit, all that. You got to block. You got to run. And by the way, since you don't feel like admitting it, did you compliment Marino? No. Marino would have won titles in so many other places. Does Marino win a title with Bill Walsh? Yeah. Yeah, he does. In those days, does he win a title with the Steelers? Yeah, he does. Does he win a title with the Giants? Yeah, he does. Those teams that can block and run and all that, we didn't do that here for him. And he was a freak. But too many people like Richard, you dick around and you really don't understand. And your problem is you're so butthurt, you don't realize that your team, the Miami Dolphins organization, is a complete fucking joke. Stephen Ross is a complete fucking joke. Wayne Huizenga tried, was a miserable failure. Those are the facts. Shula's second half run was a joke, dude. What he did to Marino was criminal. Criminal. You had a freakish singular talent, and you could never build the offensive line or the running game or the defense to complement the guy. You were lucky that he was a freak, so he entertained us a bit. But too many of you still don't understand the problem. And the problem is the Dolphin organization is bad, and they don't know how to build around quarterbacks. They never have. And that's why they will continue to lose. So get rid of Tua, and I can't wait. I'm with Richard on that. That's the only thing I agree with Richard. That's the only thing I agree with Frankie and any of you other fools out there that want to get rid of the quarterback. Okay? Yeah, he's the whole problem. Yeah, that'll solve everything. That's our only problem. You know, he's actually the least problem you have. He's the most accomplished person compared to any of our coaches. None of our coaches ever do anything. He's actually been in the elite category in his position, something none of our head coaches ever are. None of them. So, I don't know. He overcomes the stuff that he's been able to with nothing. And he's not that guy. And I know that he's not that guy. Drew Brees would have never been that guy. But if you don't give him those guards and that center and the running game and the big receivers and the tight end, you know, then he's not. And Sean Payton and all that kind of stuff. You know, what are you going to do? Look, Sean Payton's kid doesn't look that good this year. Coach did great, protecting him, helping him. And then, you know, he's got to now kind of bring him along because the league has caught up to him a little bit. He's played really bad this year. You know, now we'll see if the kid can continue. This is the challenge for the head coach, but they're still winning because of the defense, because of other things. Yet the kid has played terrible. Worse than even Tua, actually. Okay? But that's just kind of the way it goes. But his team is better. His coach is better. It helps you, man. It helps you. Tua has no help here, but that's fine. You know, I'm tired of talking about Tua. I'm tired of talking about this shit. Yeah, I'm pissed about it already. I'm pissed of all the ignorance that there is here. That's what I'm pissed at. There's a shit ton of ignorance. And instead of focusing it on Stephen Ross more than anything else, you're focused on a guy that has no control over anything that's going on around him. Yeah, no, he didn't want Darren Waller on the field at all, you know, in the game last week. What for? It won't help Tua. No, save him for the end of the game. These are things that, you know, how do you blame Tua for that? You can't. And he threw 3 interceptions. He threw 1, bro. The other 2 don't matter. The first one was all on Waddle, and the last one was, give me a break. That was at the end. And that receiver was supposed to come back. And Tua's kind of like consoling him after, like, yeah, dude, whatever, I get it. You know, he's just so used to people don't know where to line up, don't know what to do. He's just, you know, it's kind of the way it goes. But it's all on him, of course, because he's got to be the one that's got to put everybody in line and all that. Yeah, it's all on him. It's just, there's just a level of ignorance around Tua that is just stupid. But hey, look, man, I'm going to laugh if he leaves and has success somewhere else. And then we stay in the same thing because that's so typical of us. You know, we had the shot to get Drew Brees twice and we didn't. Now we actually had a quarterback, but we couldn't surround him with anything. So now he's gone. And well, that's if he can survive, by the way. He has to survive the rest of this year and next year, which is going to be really hard behind a terrible line. But if he survives and gets out, and then he does what all these other quarterbacks do, because like this whole thing with Cam Ward, it's like, I can't judge Cam Ward. You know, it's terrible what's around you. I had people, Cam Ward looks like a bust. It's like, bro, how can you even judge Cam Ward? Leave him alone. It's just crazy, dude. It's just crazy. But hey, man, this will be fun, okay? Because if and when he leaves, because eventually he's gone, okay, if he does have success, that's going to be hilarious. It's going to be hilarious. Okay? Sean, do me a favor. Give me 30 seconds so I can turn on the AC.
It starts every morning before the sun comes up. Projects are laid out. Plans are made. Equipment is fueled and loaded with inventory to handle all service requests. Orders are given to an army of skilled landscape maintenance professionals, certified arbor trimmers, irrigation technicians, and licensed pest management experts who fan out to communities and businesses all over South Florida. Experienced, on time, and dependable. Our staff is fully trained, licensed, and insured. Contact us by phone, email, social media, or through our website to answer all your landscape questions. We are Cutter's Edge. Total Landscape Solutions.
All right. The Drew, I get the QB is the most glorified position, but of course he's going to get some flack. He gets just an amount of ridiculous flack for no reason at all. You know, like this, he threw 3 interceptions. Give me a break, dude. He threw 1 terrible interception. The other 2 are bullshit. But again, if you dislike the kid, you'll hold everything against him. So I get it. I understand how it goes. I'm just over it already, dude. I'm tired of talking about it. Really am. I will get soon to the point where I will say, yeah, I don't really care about talking about 2 anymore. Because it's just not worth it anymore. All you're doing is spinning wheels. You're not going to convince the 2 people. And the best thing for him is to get out of here because this is a shit organization. Nobody wins here. See, that's the problem with you Dolphins out there. You can't admit you're the Jets in Cleveland, that you don't know how to bring up a quarterback. You don't know how to compliment players. You don't even know how to compliment Marino. Didn't know how to compliment Marino. Like, you know, the Dolphins are the originators of not knowing what to do with a QB. Drew Brees is staring you in the face, and you don't take them twice. We are that. We've been that for decades now, right? And that's the problem that you don't understand. That even the QBs that you do have, you don't even know how to maximize those. And that's why you look at Cam Ward and it's like, okay, we'll see. Amy Strunk wanted to get rid of Vrabel. Well, now Vrabel's back. He's got New England up. He's going to kick Amy Strunk's ass this week and remind her that she's a dumb broad that made a stupid ass decision. Because that was a dumb ass decision. I don't know what was wrong with her, but you don't fire Vrabel. So there you go. Now you pay the price. You know, at least he knows Vrabel's good enough that he knew how to compliment Ryan, and now he knows how to compliment May. 2 different kinds of quarterbacks. The league is littered with teams that want a quarterback, but then they don't know how to compliment him after they get him. So you get Geno Smith and you're the Jets and you don't know how to maximize him. Then he goes to other places. Alex Smith, he was considered conservative, all of that. For many years in San Francisco, he goes to Kansas City and he plays aggressive and his best football ever. Andy Reid, Donovan McNabb, now Mahomes, everybody, you know, this is what goes on. Baker Mayfield, hated in Cleveland. He said a lot of stupid shit there. He was a lightning rod, all that kind of stuff. He gets out. Now he goes to Tampa, organization that knows how to compliment their quarterbacks. They got it done. Now he's playing well. Sam Darnold, same thing. You look at the Dolphins, and we had that guy, and I watched it for 17 years. I covered his last 5 years because I'm old. I've been around for a while. And you couldn't get a running back. You couldn't get an offensive line. You couldn't get a defense. Then you're the organization that has a chance to get Drew Brees. And you go with John Avery. Then a couple of years later, you have a chance to bring Drew Brees as a free agent. You go with Culpepper and the bad knee. Now you've got Tua, who kicked Jalen Hurts out of town in Alabama because they know how to build quarterbacks over there. And at halftime, Saban goes, I need a passer. And that's what that kid does. I don't need a runner. I can block. I can run. I can do everything else. I need a guy that can read and pass. And we have gotten a guy here, and I get it. He has his limitations. But we expose it by not strengthening and protecting those limitations, because Marino couldn't run either. He wasn't going to buy you anything. He wasn't going to win a game ever with his legs, but you had to protect him. And neither was Brady, and neither is Peyton, and neither is Drew Brees. So the faster you come around to understanding that the Dolphin organization is a lot like the Jets, a lot like the Browns, that they just don't understand how to handle a quarterback, how to complement a quarterback, and then that's what's going to keep your organization down forever. All right, let's do it. I think Alexis is ready. I don't see her there. Does she have the camera on yet? Let's see. I know she popped in. I don't know if she can hear us. Let's see. Do we bring her up? Is she ready to go?
Yeah. Can
Alexis,
you hear me?
are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah, but can you turn on your camera?
Yeah, my camera's on.
No, we've got right now we've got a black polar bear in a dark room right now.
Oh, that's weird. Let me see. Okay, now is it on?
No.
Oh goodness.
We still have the black polar bear in the dark room. It's just a big old black screen.
Oh, that's weird. Okay. Let's see. I'll try to turn it off and then on again.
See?
Nothing. Let's see.
Nothing. You know what? Sign out and come back in, and then I think it'll give you the option to turn the camera on, and then that might be able to do it again. Sorry, Alexis.
Okay.
Thank you so much. All right, we are going to talk to Alexis Cubbett. I will ask her if that's how it's pronounced. She covers Louisville. And obviously the Canes take on Louisville on Friday night. It's going to be a big game. Nice test for the Canes. So I'm looking forward to seeing what Alexis has to say about Miller Moss and the boys on Friday night. So we'll get her on, and hopefully we'll get the camera working here. Let's see. There we go. We got camera. I like it. All right, Alexis, good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well, Orlando. How are you?
Very good. Is it Cubbett? Is it pronounced Cubbett?
Cubit.
Oh, Cubit. There you go. All right. So make sure you follow her on Twitter at Alexis_Cubit, Cubit. All right, Alexis. I'm looking forward to this game on Friday. This is cool because Friday nights kind of showcase games for both teams. Obviously, everybody loves to recruit. Everybody loves to have like a showcase stage. And that's what Friday night is all about for both teams.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it's a great opportunity for both teams, like you mentioned. Definitely looking forward to getting down to Miami for selfish reasons, but the game is one of them.
No doubt. You know, and I was thinking about this, Alexis, because both defenses are awesome.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a challenge of the offense that deciphers their defense. The defense that they face better is the one that wins this game, because the one thing that we can look at, the strength of both of their teams are the defenses. Absolutely. So they're going to lean a lot on that.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I totally agree. And so funny thing too is that a lot of those defensive guys know each other, you know, because Wesley Renee and Akeem obviously coming from Canada, and then Wesley Renee and Mama Toure played at Rutgers together. So, you know, it's a lot of guys that have learned from each other, grew up together. Really, really interesting. But no, like you said, that's definitely the side of the ball that I'm most interested in looking at. And just because of the offensive struggles that Louisville has, I just hope that they can keep Miller upright.
Yeah, we'll get to that. We'll get to that part of it, because that one's going to be. But how do you expect the Louisville defense, who's like allowing like 150 yards? Now, you know, there's some talk, of course. The opponents that they've had, it hasn't been upper level. So this is kind of like their hardest test so far. You know, Virginia was like their hardest test, and they ended up losing that one in overtime. But what has been successful for them in the passing game, because obviously Malachi Tony and CJ, you know, this is one heck of a receiving core that's coming at Louisville this week.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I think the thing that we, you look at the final score of that Virginia game, but they only gave up 1 touchdown in regulation. 14 of those points came from offensive mistakes. But no, I think this will be a great challenge for them. I definitely think that their passing defense has improved a lot from last year. Obviously, a pass rush will be a big thing, but I was talking to another guy, and they don't have like the biggest guys, but they're athletic, they're quick. Clev Lubin has obviously been the driving force behind that D line. Guy, he's funny. I had asked him when he first got here, what has allowed you to just be able to acclimate so quickly? Obviously, coming from a different school and non-Power 4 conference, because I'm a baller. I'm just like, well, all right, that's all you need to know. Yeah. But no, I think you have a bunch of guys who last year there were some names like the Quincy Rileys, the Ashton Gelatis, that sort of thing. But this year you don't really have a lot of big name guys per se. And I think that they have a chip on their shoulder, and that kind of feeds that. And they're welcome that challenge of playing someone and facing, like you said, those receivers, Malachi Tony, who I think you guys refer to him as Baby Jesus. Is that what I heard?
God, I got Alexis. I have rarely seen an 18-year-old who's that mature.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow. Like he won't get baited. He is like, he's super intelligent. He's not 18. He's just not 18. And he just turned 18. Like just a few weeks ago, he just turned 18. Yeah. The kid's like supposed to still be getting ready for the prom or something.
Yeah.
No, seriously. Like he's the kind of kid that you're like, wow, I want my daughter to, meet a guy like that. You know what I mean? Like he's really level-headed for an 18-year-old beyond his years. I think that's what makes him what he is. He blocks people right out of the damn field.
Yeah.
It's really impressive. So when we look at the Louisville defense and why it's had success, Alexis, is it more about the pass rush? Is it more about their secondary? Is it a combination? What are we going to see on Friday from those guys?
Yeah, no, I definitely think you have to start with the pass rush, because those D linemen are getting into the backfield. They're putting pressure on the quarterback. They're, collapsing the pocket. But also the leading tackler right now is their safety, D'Angelo Hutchinson, who is a guy who is, it's funny because whenever you hear about a player, it's like, oh, where did he transfer from? No, D'Angelo has been at Louisville his whole career, kind of a backup guy, but now is getting his opportunity. So you definitely have to start up front. That's the biggest thing. Those guys are really what makes this defense go. And then you just kind of move position by position. Even within the linebackers, it was unfortunate that they lost Stanquan Clark, who, another guy who has a lot of experience, veteran talent. But you get TJ Quinn, who's been the leading tackler for the past 2 years. The linebacker room has been the most consistent, I will say, just because they had the most returning starters with TJ and Stanquan and then Antonio Watts. But it's still up front for me is where the strength is right now, just because they're able to really impose their will on O-lines. Like you said, opponents considered, of course, but, Pitt on the road was a big test for them, and they kind of just barely got away with that one. Virginia, obviously, they, did a lot of good things, but obviously not enough to win. So, yeah, and then you go into this week, and they do tend to sometimes give up some big plays, but in the red zone, they really hunker down. I believe they're top 10, maybe top 15 in red zone defense. So, but yeah, a lot of that starts up front, and then you go into that secondary that's played a lot better with all new starters, because Louisville lost all 4 of their.
To bend a little, but not break, because once
Yes.
they get into the red zone, they kind of tighten up a little bit. I get it. And when you're talking about the safety leading in tackles, and I would imagine that the safety and Mark Fletcher are going to get to know each other very well in this game. I would imagine. Now, what would you say to the folks that say, okay, Eastern Kentucky, James Madison, Bowling Green, and then Pitt, Those are the victories for them. The loss is Virginia. You mentioned the Pitt win, which is a quality win, by the way, overall. But because of the Eastern Kentucky, the James Madison, and the Bowling Green, some people think they've kind of built up a little bit on the record-wise. What would you counter with that?
I mean, I would say that's fair, but also look at how they were winning. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of questions on offense that, like I said, we'll get to. But when you
Yeah.
look at this defense, and I mean, they weren't playing, power teams last year either, and the defense was still giving up a lot of points. So I think you have to consider the fact that yes, they weren't maybe playing, Alabama or, whatever, but I still think that they have shown growth because a lot of the teams like that they played last year were, group of 5 teams as well, but they didn't lock up as well as they could have. So, and I think, like you said, the Pitt one is really the one that I kind of look at because, yeah, Eastern Kentucky Bowling Green's kind of like, nah. But for what they were able to do against Pitt, and even in Virginia, Virginia was averaging like 500 yards of offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Louisville held them to less than 300 yards of offense. That there's something, you don't go by moral victories. That's not going to win them an ACC championship. But I think there's still something to be said about being able to hold a team like that to 1 touchdown in regulation and less than, well under their season average.
Yeah. And I didn't see the James Madison game, but James Madison is usually one of those teams that if you screw around, they can actually surprise you every once in a while. So you got to watch out. It's just kind of one of those teams. All right. So let's get to the meat of the matter and where I think this will be the difference in the game. Miami's defense, they've got maybe the best pass rushing pair in the country. The secondary is drastically improved. The defensive coordinator has really made a big change. They have a real problem protecting Moss. They've had some turnovers. This is where I think there's going to be a lopsided approach to this game, whereas I think the defense could, cause some problems for Miami's offense at times. I think there could be a little bit of a battle there at times. I think this could be a dominating part. And let me tell you, it's not like Isaac Brown can't play. Miller Moss is a good player. Kiwan, a good player. Chris Bell is having a good year. It's not like they don't have talent.
Right.
But it's just like, they haven't put it together, and up against those pass rushers, how do they keep Miller? Like you started the interview by already kind of delivering it a little bit. If they could keep him upright, so you and I are kind of on the same page here.
Absolutely.
I think that's going to be the real problem for Louisville in this one. So talk to me about that.
Yeah, so here's the thing that I think is, I mean, you obviously don't want to use injuries as an excuse. But when you had 2 dominant true freshmen like Isaac Brown and Duke Watson, and they're not healthy, I'd venture to say that Duke will not play this game just because the past 2 games he's left early with that same ankle injury. It's very limiting because Jeff Brom has thrived on play action. He's thrived on, having a balanced attack. Even though he's known more for the pass game, he's had some decent running backs that he's coached. No one expected Isaac to do what he did. But to have them hurt very early on is very limiting. And so when you can't, just hand the ball off to him. Obviously, you have to depend on the pass a little more. And that's not been great, especially when you had, O-linemen that simply just cannot block for Miller right now. They've tried different combinations. Trevante Sylvester was probably one of their best returning O-linemen. He got hurt in the preseason. So he's just now kind of getting back, trying to get those reps, now moving into a starting role. Just some really bad blocking. And I won't put it all on them because there have been some times where Miller just has not made good decisions or just kind of does not show the poise that you would think someone who is a veteran would show in certain situations. But he's still getting used to the offense, it sounds like. And so when you come into an offense that you're having to learn, but then you're now having to adjust that because you don't have your running backs, it's not good. So I think the biggest thing is they're just going to have to go tempo, like get the ball out as quickly as possible because those guys are coming.
Yeah. Yeah. And if they don't establish the run somehow, it's going to be a long day.
Yeah.
Because they're going to need to take some pressure off. They can't, the Miami's pass rush is so vicious they cannot find themselves in second and third and longs
No.
because that's really going to be a real problem for Louisville. I think this is where the tables can really turn in the game because of where the defense is at and where Louisville's offense is not, like you said. And it's not excuses. These are facts, man.
Yeah.
These are facts. When you lose key players, it's just hard to replace them. And if they're not healthy when they're playing, it's also, it just it puts, and then you're going up against one of the better teams in the country.
Right.
And that defensive front is just vicious. It's really
it's insane. And obviously the bye week helped, but you'd almost hope to have a little bit of a softer, for lack of a better term, opponent coming out of the bye with those kind of injuries and that loss as like a get right game. But this is just a trial by fire experience. And I will say, even though their offense has struggled, Chris Bell has had a hell of a season.
Good.
Yeah, another guy who has been at Louisville his whole career, just maybe hasn't been as mature to get some of those opportunities. And he just talked about that before, just learning how to control his emotions. But man, he's been huge for them this season. I mean, back-to-back 100-yard receiving games. So, if they can get it to him, I mean, and he's big, you know what I mean? Like he's got this little baby face with this grown man body, and it's just insane what he's been able to do this season. So if they can get it to him, he's going to make plays. Colin Lacey, same thing, but it's just a matter of getting it to them.
Alexis, give me the prediction. What's going to happen on Friday night?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and give Louisville some bulletin board material because I think they get loss number 2. I don't think this offense is ready right now. I think the defense can make enough stops, but it's a matter of how long they're on the field. Fatigue will set in because they're human, contrary to what some fans may think.
And Mario will run. He
Yes.
will run the ball, so he will
Yes.
wear them out in that second half. Yeah, that is a very good point that you're making on that defense, because if they're out there and then they got to deal with some long drives, that third and fourth quarter in the humidity of South Florida, you're right. It's an evening, there'll still be humidity.
Yeah. So I have Miami winning 35 to I think 20. What did I do? 35 or 38 to 28. I do think it's going to be a close game because that's just how Louisville and Miami have gone. But I think Miami pulls away a little bit. Home field advantage, like you said, just them being able to get that one extra play. I think Miami will get this win.
Alexis, great stuff. Follow her on Twitter at Alexis_Cubit, right?
Yes.
Right? There you go. And catch her work there at the Courier Journal Sport. Thank you, as always, Alexis. Hopefully we'll talk down the line again. I appreciate you, and enjoy your trip to South Florida on this week. All right?
Thank you so much.
You got it. Be good,
All
Alexis.
Right. Bye-bye.
Alexis Cubit. All right, good stuff there, previewing the Miami-Louisville game, because, when I kind of see this game, that offense is the one thing that I think Miami can really attack, because they got talent on the Louisville offense. They got kids. The Isaac kid is a Miami kid. They got guys that can ball, but they got to protect them and all that kind of stuff. And Miami's pass rush is just so vicious, dude. So I think that's going. And she brought up a great point, because if they're on the field and they're getting pounded by long runs, then that will also wear out the defense too a little bit, which is, to Mario's credit, unlike the Dolphins, who don't understand how to establish a running game to complement their quarterbacks on a consistent basis, Mario Cristobal gets it. He knows how to pound the hell out of the opponent with all kinds of backs. And that's what he's going to do to Louisville, So great job by Alexis. Really enjoyed her interview and her perspective on it. Good stuff, man. All right. Sean McGoofus is actually talking. Do we have anything that McGoofus said outside of ums, ahs, and all rights? Yes.
He referenced Tua talking to the team. He basically just said the first, last, and only thing I have anything to say about it is the Cleveland Browns and our focus within that regard. He communicated with his teammates both in a group and individually, there is much bigger fish to fry.
All right. Nothing else really earth-shattering out of it? Yeah, because everybody's just focused on the Tua stuff.
Well, they asked him about, Joe Shad asked him about the effect of the absence of Calais Campbell.
Calais, Teron Armstead, what's it called? Javon Holland, a lot of leadership left out the door. Okay. What else?
He also said that I have problems to solve. My job is a problem solver, quite literally. There are new issues to attack and address. You don't control the circumstances or situation entirely on your own ever in life.
Okay. All right.
And then there's Jonah questions.
Poor kid. Corso, thank you for the love on the super chat. Remember, you can make a donation Cash App or Venmo. Send your questions, comments, insults in there too. But we keep 100% there, whereas super chat, damn, YouTube takes 30, okay? He says, are we really on the same level as the Dairy Queen Jets? We are. We are. Do we know how to compliment quarterbacks? No. Hey, Tannehill. I know he's Tannehill, but he goes to Tennessee and has more success because they built a team around him that could help him have more success. Not that he was the difference maker, because we all know it was Derek. Well, those of us with a brain, it was Derrick Henry and the offensive line and Vrabel and all that kind of stuff in the defense. But they got the same bum we had here and got more success. Do you understand that? You see how we ruined Marino, and we're doing the same thing now with Tua. Okay, so different level quarterbacks. In Tannehill, a guy that is a scatterbrain, you can actually have more success with him somewhere else, right? Tua, who won a national title, we can't do anything with him, but he has had success. And Marino, who's a freak, So we are the Jets, and we are the Browns. It's the problem is too many of you, and you older fans like me, bro, the Shula days are gone. Those things are that Shula killed the Shula days. His last half killed the first half. And then it just got worse and worse and worse after that. Because Shula started not knowing how to compliment quarterbacks. And it's just continued for the rest of time. So, yes, we are the Jets and we are the Browns. Yes, we are. It hurts, but it's the truth. Let's see. Dr. Quit. Not going to say much. Just say, I hope Tua is let go and balls out elsewhere. That's what I'm hoping too. I'm hoping that he gets let go and he goes somewhere else. If he balls out or not, whatever, but I hope he gets an opportunity to get away from this franchise. That's what I hope. So I am with all the Tua haters for a little different reasons, but, Dr. Quinn and I are with you haters, but for different reasons because, I can only blame we have seen many players, not just quarterbacks, leave here and succeed elsewhere, right? So, again, big picture. Let's see. Big O, your take on the Miami QBs makes sense, and it's so sad. It's we are sad, but the faster that we admit it, the better we are. Tony Zag says the fact that this organization hasn't been able to find a good head coach in 30 years isn't it? Dude, like Jimmy fails here. Saban fails here. Forget about Cameron and Flo and Gase and McDaniel and But just think about that. Jimmy Johnson fails you. And now he didn't have a Mike Lynn to make a trade and all that and have a whole bunch of picks and everything because, that helped. Or in Dallas, but to his credit, he picked the right guys and he created a dynasty and all that. But he fails here. He fails here. It's crazy. It just, we are the problem. And that's where but hey, man, knock yourselves out, kill two all you want. It's all good. By the way, Big E strong. This way a little bit. There we go. Oh. There we go. There we go. Got to get Big E strong, baby. Get your bracelets. Let's support Ian. He's going through a rough one. He was at the game, which is great. Still waiting for the right transplant. He's got a lot of medical bills and a long road ahead, but he's going to get through this. Your help, my help, all of us together, love, prayers, and get your bracelets. Help him out with some medical expenses, please. So let's get together and, get behind Big E and support him, man. All right? The Sports Babe and Lou do a great job. They'll get you the bracelets. Stay strong for Ian, and we'll get him through this, man. Love you, Ian. You'll get through this, my brother. You and I will see the Dolphins win a Super Bowl one day. We will. I gotta believe that, no matter how bad they are. I gotta believe it. Even if I'm lying to myself, I gotta try to believe it. By the way, it's interesting, right? Because in environment is everything. Like I told you, you look at Cam Ward now in the environment he's in, he would like to be with Vrabel instead in the same environment. Somehow or another, I think Cam Ward would be having. What do you think, Sean? If Vrabel was the coach this year, do you think Cam Ward would be having slightly better year? A slightly better year. Yeah. Right. So how about New England? Brady leaves, and did it get better or did it progressively get worse? It did, right? And was Mac Brown a terrible coach at North Carolina? No. He was winning 8 games or 9 games or what. Hell, last time I checked, Sean, wasn't Mac Brown beating the Canes every year? Yeah. And look at Belichick. Crazy, right? His environment went to shit without Brady. And now he's at North Carolina, and it's worse than it was with Mac Brown. Tennessee with Vrabel. A coach is everything, man. And he's right. 30 years. Tony Zags is right. 30 years. You can't find a coach. You cannot find a coach. 30 years. And you've had talent even in the Jeff Ireland years. Okay? There were actually some players on the teams. I'm not telling you it was perfect, but you should have gotten more. Coaches weren't good enough. The Dave Wannstedt years. Some of those teams were really good, and you could have gotten more, and you didn't. The last couple of years with Mike McDaniel. This year alone, you should have won 2 or 3 more games. Just alone this year. Last year, I had 3 to 5 extra wins on the schedule. Because of the coach, you lost 3 to 5. Easily 3. Argue. There was the 4th and 5th one. We could argue and have a discussion, but easily 3 last year. The coach is everything, man. And we cannot find a coach. It is insane how we can't find a coach that then builds the killer staff to get you over the top. So it hurts. It hurts, And I see this kid going down, and he's the best we've had in forever. And it just makes no sense to me, man. Really. Just makes no sense to me. But, all right, this is where we are. And if he leaves and he goes and has success somewhere else, I'm going to be laughing my ass off. And I know most of you that hated Tua will disappear and not say anything and all that, because that's usually the way it goes, But, man, it is sad, brother. It is sad, brothers and sisters. Alma Mia says, I'm starting to believe in the curse of the Tequesta. I mean, every owner and coach sucks. We had Campbell and he left. Make it make sense. Is that the stupid thing on the stadium? The Tequesta crap? The Marlins won titles there, bro. Stop with all that. The Dolphins have been terrible and been failing since they were in the back end of the Orange Bowl. Okay, so, it's, I don't know what to tell you, dude. John Pettis says, Marino years are irrelevant to 2025 Dolphins. So should we just not support your show, watch the games? Some of the Dolphins, they just need to draft QBs more often. I don't know what to tell you. You do whatever the hell you want. But I'm not the guy that's going to lie to you to keep you watching. And if you need to know that it's going to be a good team in order to watch, you're not a very good fan. So I told everybody, John, that this would be a shit year. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to watch them and support them and talk about them. Whatever. If they're shitty, they're shitty. What are you going to do? But those are the facts. Now, if you don't want to hear the truth, you can listen to Solana and Crowder and Hawk and all those guys. They like to stay away from gloom and doom. So those are the kind of shows that you need to listen to. The ones that are joking around and always happy, and they don't really talk about like what's really going on. They'll act surprised that they're bad this year. That kind of stuff. I mean, you could do that, dude, if you want. You know what I'm saying? I'm not afraid to tell you it's bad or not. They're going to have a bad year and all that. Real fans can deal with it. I know that there are the emotional cripples out there that, they want to get into the echo chamber and they want to hear the Dolphins are going to be great, but I can't tell you that. I can tell you the Canes are going to be great. I can tell you the Panthers are great. I can tell you when an organization is headed in the right direction, but I'm also going to tell you when an organization is headed in the wrong direction or it's been in the wrong direction. So if you weren't listening in the offseason, John, all offseason I told everybody this will be a bad year. Guess what it is? A bad year. So, and by the way, there were a bunch of people that, as I said that in the offseason, they tuned us out. Oh, I can't listen to this guy. He's just going to be negative about the Dolphins. No, I'm going to be honest about the Dolphins, but it's all right. You could call it negative. And Shang Tu Sheng. Ross is the problem. Of course. Yeah, you are correct. Sweet Baby Ray, I believe the Finns passed up on Drew Brees when they drafted Jamar Fletcher. I think I said John Avery. John Avery was selected the year. That was a Randy Moss year. Exactly. That's it. Exactly. Correct. John Pettis says, that's not what I'm saying. Oh, you keep saying that the Dolphins going to suck no matter who's at QB. I'm telling you, we should just give up because the Finns, well, I mean, that's what they've shown me. And so I'll keep watching and hoping one day they figure it out. But right now, they keep showing me we can't compliment Marino. We couldn't even compliment sorry-ass Tannehill. And we can't compliment Tua. So, and Tannehill ain't shit. But by him going to Tennessee and having more success because they had a better team, it shows you that we don't know what we're doing. So that's it. That's all I can say. My favorite thing about QAM is how they flip-flop on their opinions based on the sentiment of the fan base in that moment. Big O has conviction and stays consistent no matter what. Thank you. Yeah, I don't play politics. I'm not trying to play with your feelings. That's what they do. They're afraid of, oh my God, we can't give them the honest. No, let's just be wrong like everybody else. Let's just, say it's going to be great. It's going to be great. And then we'll be let down like everybody else, and we'll act like we're disappointed and mad. Like now, everybody's like all up in arms and pointing fingers and all that. And I'm sitting back going, yeah, I knew this season was going to suck, dude. Like, give me a break. So, yeah, that's the beauty. I'll stay with the conviction. That way I'm either right or I'm wrong, but I'm not going to waffle. Okay, I'd rather be wrong than waffle. I used to bust them all the time here, waffling. Know what I mean? Those of you that have been around for a while, you waffle, we catch you. Anyway, all right. Nobody will come here as long as Ross is the owner. I mean, money usually brings them, but we haven't gotten a really great candidate. So, you could be right? Because that's the facts for Ross. None of his candidates are somebody you would consider top notch. That is true. That is very true. Like a big name, like you wonder if they went after Vrabel, would he have taken the job? Would he said, hey, we really appreciate it, but I'm gonna hold off. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna see what the other offers are out there, and then let me weigh my options, and I'll get back to you. Would Vrabel have taken the job? It's a very interesting point, Shang Tusheng, because that's something that we do have to think about now. We do have to think about, can the Ross family actually attract a high-level candidate? If there was an established coach like a Mike Vrabel that was available, could Stephen Ross, with the reputation that he has built now in the NFL, which is a terrible one, could he attract it? Or would that person end up choosing another organization? That's a great question. That's a interesting concern that I think we should all now have. And Shang Tusheng, nice job. Yeah, I think that's something we have to think about now. Can Stephen Ross land a candidate that all of us can finally be really happy with? Somebody that actually really knows how to build a football team and coach a football team and manage a football team and manage a coaching staff and manage a game and manage the media. Yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Ocala Joe says, if we don't change our soft philosophy, well, we haven't since Shula, and put together a tough offensive and defensive lines, we will continue to suck, and you are 1,000% right. Did Fisher reject? I mean, Jeff Fisher wasn't any good after his run in Tennessee, but did he turn down Ross? I don't even remember now. Do you remember that, Sean? If he turned down Ross? Wow. I don't know if that's a bad thing anymore after the fact that Fisher could never really, resurrect his career. Maybe that was a good thing. You know what I'm saying? If he would have resurrected his career somewhere else and he turned us down, then, okay, I kind of feel bad. But Jeff Fisher never was Jeff Fisher again. The success he had in Tennessee early on, he never got to match it again. Never. So, yeah, I don't know about that, my man. I don't know if that one. I don't know if Shang Tusheng, I'll go with the original one. On this one, I don't know if I'm hurting that Fisher rejected us. You know, that one I'm not. So, the Drew, I wish I could get involved. Nobody would ever listen to me anyways. Let me do a little music, by the way. Might as well do a little music right now. Don't forget, folks, to smash the hell out of the like button. We're not over 100 yet. Come on. Get us over 100. All right, let's start off with birthdays, right? With music, with what's it called? With musicians celebrating birthdays today. Okay. All right. Taylor Swift celebrating a birthday today. Oh, no, wait a minute. Hold on a second. No, that's not the one. That's not the one. I hit the wrong one. I'm sorry. My bad. All right, let's go with musicians born on this date. All right, here we go. On October 15th, Keisha Cole, the princess of hip-hop soul. She was born in 1981. Genuine, born in 1975. The R&B singer Elgin Lumpkin. Yeah, bro, please change your name to Genuine. They named him Elgin, and his last name is Lumpkin. Yeah, I don't think I would admit anybody that my name is Elgin Lumpkin. Yeah, no, I'm Genuine. Yeah, that's what I would do too. That's a good move by him, bro. Good move by him. Tito Jackson, the late Tito Jackson. We lost him in 2024. He was born in 1953 on this date. The lady in red is dancing with me, cheek to cheek. I actually like Don't Pay the Ferryman Until He Gets You to the Other Side. Krista Berg, celebrating a birthday today, born in 1947. That guy sold 45 million albums worldwide. Wow. Richard Carpenter from the Carpenters, born in 1946. Who else? I'm on top of the world looking down on creation. Doc Severinsen, band leader, 1942. And Barry Maguire, Eve of Destruction, born in 1935. He was also part of the Wrecking Crew, too. The Wrecking Crew, I'm sorry. So Barry had a little bit of talent, just in case. And that is it for musicians born on this date. Now let's go with birthdays. Other famous people celebrating birthdays today. Who else famous celebrating birthdays on the 15th? And remember, if I don't give you the age, that means they are no longer with us on this list. And we start with U.S. First Lady Edith Wilson, born in 1872. Writer Mario Puzo, born in 1920. Entrepreneur Lee Iacocca, born in 1924. Yes, it's entrepreneur. I just got to have some fun with it. It's kind of like the Richard thing. Musician Barry Maguire, I already mentioned that. Actress Linda Lavin, born in 1937. She is 88 today. How about that? Didn't know Linda was still with us. Actress Penny Marshall, born in 1943. Rest in peace. Hall of Famer Jim Palmer, born in 1945. He's 80. Actor Larry Miller, born in 1953. He's 72. Actress Tanya Roberts, born in 1955. I didn't know Tanya Roberts was no longer with us. Wow. Damn. Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, born in 1959. She's 66. Actor Dominique West, born in 1969. He's 56. Musician Keisha Cole, born in 1981. She's 44. I think I mentioned that. And that's it. Sean Stanley, do you have wrestlers born on this date?
Yes, sir, we do. Titan turns 35, and Tama Tonga turns 43 on October 15th, 2025.
All right. Smash it. Come on, man. We need 5 more to get to 100. Let's go. Smash it. What happened today in music history? I know a lot of you are wondering on October 15th. What happened today? Well, in 65, Jimi Hendrix signed his first recording contract in the UK where he would receive $1 and 1% royalty on all of his recordings. That's some bullshit, bro. How you treat the GOAT that way, man. In 66, the Four Tops started a 2-week run at number 1 on the U.S. singles charts with Reach Out, I'll Be There. Their second number 1. Let's see. 76, Electric Light Orchestra released their 6th studio album, A New World Record. It features the singles Living Thing, Do Ya, Rockaria, and Telephone Line. That's actually my favorite song from ELO, is Telephone Line. Oh, one of the most annoying songs in the history of mankind came out today in 1977, and it started a 10-week run at number 1 on the U.S. singles charts when Debbie Boone kept singing, You light up my life. God, I was so tired of that song. You give me hope to carry on. So terrible. In 88, Bon Jovi started a 4-week run at number 1 on the U.S. album charts with their 4th release, New Jersey. The album produced 5 Billboard Hot 100 top 10 singles, the most top 10 hits to date for a hard rock album. In 94, REM entered the Billboard 200 chart at number 1 with Monster. The album was their 9th, and the stylistic shift from the band's previous 2 albums, 91's Out of Time, which is so good, and 92's Automatic for the People, which was monstrous. With loud, distorted guitar tones and simple arrangements, it included the successful single, What's the Frequency, Kenneth? Good song, too. Let's see who else doing something today. In 2010, Kings of Leon released their 5th studio album, Come Around Sundown. It features Radioactive, Pyro, and Back Down South. In 2014, U2 frontman Bono said he was sorry after their latest album was automatically added to the libraries of all iTunes users around the world, saying the move was a drop of megalomania, a touch of generosity. iTunes users complained that the 11-track Song of Innocence had added to their music library without permission, and it was not clear how to delete it. So many of you were such horses' asses. Dude, if you don't like it, just get rid of it or whatever. I mean, people acted like it was like it was the most, evasive thing that they've dealt with in their lives or something. Oh, get over it. Plus, it's an excellent album, one of the greatest bands of all time. What is wrong with you people? Be grateful that the greatest band of all time dropped an album into your iPod without even having to do anything. That, my friends, is awesome. Let's see if there's any birthdays that I left out, or not that I left out, it wasn't on that list. Eric Benet is 59. And I think that is it. Yeah. That is it. Nothing else. That's what happened today in Musica history. Thank you all out there. Let's see. Oh, it was the spring of 2012. Fisher went to the Rams back when you were at 640. Okay. Again, he didn't really do anything, so I'm good with him turning us down. Yeah. Yeah, we talked about D'Angelo yesterday. Poor guy, 51. Cancer, man. It's terrible. Terrible, terrible. Elgin Lumpkin. Isn't it funny? I had no idea that was his name. I would want to be known as Genuine also. I mean, I probably would fight you if you called me Elgin. Like, no, that's not my name. Don't call me that again. I'll punch you in the jaw. Bust you in the jaw. Call me Elgin. Although there is this theory that if you name your children a sophisticated name, okay, like an Elgin, or something like that, that they have a better chance to succeed. So you're better off calling him Theodore than you are Brian. I don't know. It's just kind of the way it goes. That if you name them some kind of like classic name or something, they have a better chance of succeeding than if you just name them Orlando or Jose. Yeah, we'll call him Pepe. Bad move. So that's kind of, you should have called him Wilford. Something like that. And then he goes on to, Sebastian, some kind of like, name. And, just don't name them something normal. Then they become just normal people. But if you name them Elgin, there's Elgin Baylor, or you become Genuine. See what I'm saying? It's something to it. I got to tell you. So name him Theodore before you name him Tim. See what I'm saying? They say that's what happens. Elgin does sound like a rich. I'm telling you, the mom was ahead of her time. She got it. There's that thing, that if you got that name, you're like, well, wait a minute, I've got this name. I've got to kind of like, I got to become rich. I've got to become a CEO. I've got to become, very, very popular, very successful. It's one of those things. Whitford. You name him Whitford, and he's not going to end up in a freaking alley drinking Genuine. You name him Whitford, and, he's going to end up on the West Wing. There you go. Whitford Bradley, West Wing. Okay. Anyway, so I'm just saying, these are things to keep in mind for you youngins out there. Oh, I want to name her Teresa. No. Don't do that. No, that's just normal. You don't want to do that. She'll become a normal person. Name her something else, something extravagant, and then she'll have to live up to it. That's it. So if you want your kids to succeed, give them a name of a snob. A rich snob. And that's it. Oh, Eleanor. And there you go. Oh, it sounds boring. Yeah, but Eleanor's a rich bitch. Eleanor owns the entire mall. You named her Sue, she works at the mall. You name her Eleanor, she owns the mall. Just saying. Wilford Brimsley. You see what I'm saying? Mustache becomes really famous all over. Wilford. You run into a crack addict, you ask him what's his name, he's going to tell you Johnny. He's going to tell you Orlando or something. He's not going to say, my name is Wilford. Theodore Winston III at your service. And he's got shopping cart full of, no, the Theodores don't end up with shopping carts in alleys. They just don't. They own Park Avenue. So that's the key. Name your kid a rich person snob-like name, and the rest is history. Okay? Kids will make fun of them early on, but then what happens? Later on, 30 years later, oh shit, bro. I used to make fun of this guy. He owns the building. So, just saying. Just giving you tips out there, young people. Okay? Hey, by the way, I am not a name expert. I am not a type of family expert or anything like that. Just make sure. Go along the lines because I'm not an expert in anything. George Matella says Barrington or Worthington sounds real rich or high class. Exactly, George. See, you get it. See, George, you and I, you're George, I'm Orlando. We're just broke. We're just a bunch of broke-ass fools. Just working, plugging along. If they would have named you and me Barrington and Worthington, you and I would have been like in, Fortune 500 companies and running all kinds of stuff. This is what happens. You end up with a name like Orlando, and you're just some schmuck doing a radio show. Don't name your kids Orlando. What kind of crap is that, bro? Barrington, Worthington. Yeah, that's more like it. I like that. Should I call myself Edward instead of Eddie then? No. Well, yeah, yeah, but if you started with Eddie, you screwed up already, Eddie. Like we have Edward Thurston Howell that checks in. See? Edward Thurston Howell. Very popular man on the show. Always on the chat board. Little do you know that guy is a millionaire. But you went with Eddie, so you're just the cruisers. Unfortunately. That's just kind of the way it goes. Got to leave you there, bro. No Eddies. Eddie's, don't worry. Edward would have been. That's so now you know, Eddie, why you are not rich. Because you didn't go with Edward. If you would have gone with Edward or Harold, like people are making fun of Harold's all the time. But then, 40 years later, you see Harold and he owns the entire line of GMC. He's a CEO. That's kind of what you got to do. You got to pick up a snob's name. Okay? Because the cool people are called Eddie. Edwards are not usually cool. It was Eddie Van Halen. But when it was Edward, now he's the GOAT. See? Edward Van Halen. There it is. What's it say on his we called him Eddie for short, but he was really Edward. There you go. He got it. Yep. There you go. It happens. Oh, God. How's Anthony Kyle Campos? Well, see, here's the problem with that. People with 3 names end up becoming serial killers or murderers or something. John Wayne Gacy and stuff. It just kind of, I don't know, The son of Sam, what was his name? He had like 3 names too. Besides his nickname, son of Sam, too. Yeah, his nickname had 3. I mean, that's the problem there with 3. Anthony Kyle Campos. I'd be careful with that. The 3 name people are usually historically, it's not a good thing. Just want to tell you, Anthony. Never name your kid 3 names because then you're like, well, wait a minute, bro. All the killers in history are 3 names. Assassinations, 3 names. What is this? So, Anthony, I would cut a name out. I would go with Anthony Campos. You don't want to go with Anthony Kyle because then you've got 2 first names for names. It's not good. It's also, that's the other thing you don't want to do. You don't want to name yourself 2 first names. It's confusing. It's like your parents couldn't make it up. Like, what's this? Like, you had a first name last. Why didn't they give you a last name first instead? It's just there's a lot of discombobulation going on here, Anthony. So if I'm you, drop the 3rd name because one day they're going to think that you're a killer. Jeff Fisher turned down a job from Miami Dolphins in January of 2012 after sitting out the 2011 season. He ultimately chose to accept the head coaching job with the St. Louis Rams. The key factor that influenced his decision, final say over personnel. Fisher sought control over personnel decisions. And reports indicated that the Dolphins' offer would have him to require to work under incumbent Jeff Ireland, which was less appealing than the control of the Rams. The Rams' potential, Fisher was enticed by the opportunity in St. Louis, which included working with a young, promising quarterback in Sam Bradford and the chance to handpick a new general manager. And differing, by the way, the GM he picked, is he not the guy that stayed there? Didn't he pick Les Snead and then Les Snead stayed there and he left? Wow. Who did he pick as general manager? Because I want to say it might have even been Les Snead and then he stayed there. Anyways, differing financial offers. While Miami owner Stephen Ross was reportedly willing to pay big money, sources familiar with the negotiations said the Dolphins' offer was ultimately less than the Rams' 5-year, $35 million package. Okay. It didn't work out, so I can't regret it because he just was never the same after Tennessee. That was his best run. So, I don't know. That was probably a blessing, you know. Shang Tu Shang says, I have a theory why Greer is still employed by Ross and will get promoted to another position after the season. He's a key witness in the I don't think it has anything to do with that at all. Why? The Dolphins have nothing to do with anything in that lawsuit, because his lawsuit is against the other teams. His lawsuit isn't against the Dolphins. His lawsuit is against the other teams who he claims they use bias in not hiring him. So whatever they use Greer for, it means nothing because the Dolphins are in no way, shape, or form involved in the lawsuit. So it doesn't really matter. So yeah, those are silly theories that people throw out there, and it's not even close to true. So yeah, that's ridiculous. The name conversation here has me cracking up laughing. Yep. Carl Anthony Towns, you see? He's a killer. He ends all seasons. He chokes every way possible. I told you, these three name guys, they kill things. Carl Anthony Towns kills seasons. He's as big a choker as it gets. Got to watch out with those kind of guys, man. Those three name guys, they're dangerous. Those Anthony Kyle Campos people, oh my God, you got to watch out with those people. Oh. Eleanor Rigby, huh? There you go. They even made a song after her. Can't get any more famous than that. All right, we're out of here. We thank Alexis Cubitt for previewing the Louisville-Miami game for us. We appreciate that. We thank, of course, the great Sean Stanley. We thank everybody that tuned in, watched, hit the like button. Did you get us over 100? Nope, not even 100 yet. We're at 98. Let's go. Come on, man. 2 people there got to be able to hit it and get us into triple digits. We appreciate you all. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. We are at Caneswear tomorrow at 11 a.m. All right? So come on out and join us. We'll be out there getting you ready for a little UM and Louisville. See you tomorrow. Oh, by the way, Manny Navarro will join us there tomorrow. We'll talk a little Canes with him. See you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.